Today we have a special guest that I'm super excited about. It's been a long time coming, y'all. I've been asking him for years to come on this podcast, and I finally got him on here today. How are you, Lawrence?
I'm doing very well. I'm so glad to be here. We have been planning this for a long time, but timing is really everything. And I don't think that there's a better time, or that there's been a better time than right now, this very moment, for me to come onto your show. So I want to thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. So kind of tell my audience what's so special about today.
Well, so today represents the many years of hard work that have gone into building my legal tech company, Legalese, right? And so today we'll launch at 11 p.m. Today we'll go live. You can find us at www.legalese.com. You can reach our automated legal assistant, Wilma, at 1-800-619-1111, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we will help you to clear your criminal record if you have something on your criminal record that is eligible to be expunged. And if you don't know, expungement is the process by which a person can get something removed from their criminal record if they are eligible in the state of Mississippi.
Yes. So is this only for the state of Mississippi, or is this for all 50 states?
So right now we are focused on Mississippi, and we intend to grow to the 48 states that offer record clearing services over the next 18 months. Of course, we know that Alaska and Alabama do not offer any record clearing services at this time, and so we will expand to the other states that do over the next 18 months.
I didn't know that. So Alabama's in that number?
Alabama's in that number. And that's why it's so important for you to win your election, because we need more good and decent people like you in our politics who can advocate for the people.
Absolutely. So
and I guess in your audience, I'm sure most of your audience knows, but remind everybody what it is that you're running for, so that people can make sure that they're supporting you in your other endeavors.
Absolutely. So I'm Crispin. I'm running for Calera City Council. You vote at large, so you guys get one mayoral vote and one city council vote. And hopefully that vote will be for me. I'm advocating for businesses, for residents here in Calera, but we're not going to go into too much of a spill on that, because we want to focus on our man of the hour. But I do appreciate that moment for you allowing me.
It's a little plug. I got the plug. You know what I'm saying? I got to return the favor.
Right. So tell the audience a little bit about you, just your background. Where did you grow up? Kind of what was life like for you leading up into you becoming a lawyer?
Wow, life leading up to becoming a lawyer. So I'm from Canton, Mississippi, and I grew up mostly in Mississippi, but I spent a little time when I was really young living in Dallas. And my mother was just always a very disciplined person, right? And so she made sure that I was focused on school and things that I needed to be focused on. And I never really got a lot of good grades. I wasn't a good grade type of student per se, but I was persistent enough to see things through. And I went to the Pineywood School in Mississippi that offered me a lot of opportunities. After that, I went to Howard University, which is where I met my co-founder of Legalese, doing community work and actually being members of the Howard University mock trial team. So this legal tech company is kind of a full circle moment in that respect. I always wanted to be an attorney. There was a point where I thought I maybe wanted to be a veterinarian, but a veterinarian asked me what was important to me. And I said, I want to make a lot of money. And he said, well, be a lawyer. And so,
that's how
I was kind of focused on that.
Yeah, so that's cool. Did you have pets and stuff growing up? What sparked you to want to be a?
Yeah, I was really into I've always been into livestock and dogs. You can hear the dogs.
I hear the animals now. I spoke them up.
I'm leaving this office building with a lot of dogs right now. I don't know what the hell is going on. But I've always been into that kind of thing: livestock, horses, cattle, dogs, and things like that. So yeah, that was something I was into then. I'm into it, now still as a hobby, kind of like a hobby farmer.
Yeah, so let's go back to law school. I know you kind of said that you didn't make the best grades growing up. So was that process hard for you getting into law school, or what did that look like? Did you have any challenges while?
I think that I made it more challenging than it had to be. I always saw every step as a means to an end. So I said, well, I have to finish high school because I need to go to college. I need to go to college because I need to go to law school. And so, everything was kind of tied in. But I still, I never was really super focused on what my GPA was, right? As long as I made it to the next step, I was satisfied. And so it really wasn't until I applied to law school that some of that stuff kind of caught up to me, because I wanted to go to like Harvard or Stanford, but I didn't have the grades for that. I honestly just couldn't make it happen. So, but I think that actually worked out for the good. And we can really think of it like this way. If I had gone to Stanford or Harvard or one of those schools, you and I wouldn't be sitting here today, because you and I met when I was a student at Mississippi College, right? And so, things work out when in the way that they should. So,
Absolutely.
shout out to Mississippi College. Mississippi College was willing to take a chance on me when most other law schools were not, right? And so I actually got into Mississippi College a year before I started attending, because the first time that I was accepted, I said, well, I don't want to go to Mississippi College, so I'm just going to put it off a year. I need to reapply to Harvard. I need to reapply to Stanford. I need to reapply to Emory, right? And give those schools another shot before I commit to going to Mississippi College. And so I did that. I had to reapply to Mississippi College. And once again, Mississippi College was one of the few law schools that was willing to take a gamble on me. But, I hope it's paying off, right?
Yeah, it looks like it is. So what kind of law do you practice?
Well, so before really getting legalese off the ground, I was really, super focused on building my criminal defense practice. And I think that went really well. And I had, a few personal injury clients as well. I think all lawyers, everywhere you go, we're all kind of fighting over that, little fender bender accident.
Right.
You up in the morning on your morning commute, you see one fender bender, right? And that it's like 10 lawyers behind the scene trying to get that little case. So that's where my focus was, and I did that for about 6 years, 5 or 6 years before I started wanting to kind of pivot into something different, and from that desire, legalese was ultimately born.
Yeah, so kind of tell me what sparked you to start legalese. I believe I watched a video on you before, and you kind of said that you had gotten into some legal trouble and you had to go through that whole process, and you kind of wanted to make it easier on others. So I guess I kind of just answered my own question, not to get into your business or anything, what you did, but just kind of what sparked you to actually start legalese.
So no, you kind of hit it on the head. When I was in undergrad in Washington, D.C., I was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor one, wild college kid night on U Street in D.C. If you're familiar with Washington, D.C., U Street is a popular gathering spot for the city, and there are a lot of bars and restaurants. And so I was out, being a college kid, and I got arrested. The next day, the charge was dismissed. But I never really did anything about it. And the funny thing was, I didn't want to tell my parents, right? And so I never.
You're frozen on me, Lawrence.
Okay. Yeah. So it was kind of like no harm, no foul. I moved on. I graduated from undergrad. And when I was applying for law school, one of the things that every applicant had to do was disclose every address you've ever lived at, any interaction you've ever had with police your whole life, regardless of what the outcome was. And I was like, oh shit, maybe this is going to be, maybe this is finally going to be the thing, because I was already struggling to get in anyway. I was already had this thing where like my grades weren't that best. I had a really decent LSAT score. For those of you who don't know, you have to take the LSAT in order to get into law school, similar to how you have to take the ACT or the SAT to get into undergrad. And so, I had a decent LSAT score, but I was already kind of, I don't know, what's going to happen here. And I thought that that arrest could maybe stop me from getting into law school. And so I went to my dad. Those who don't know, my father's also an attorney. And so I sit down at his desk on a Saturday morning and I say, look, Dad, and I had this little brush with the law when I was an undergrad. It was dismissed, but they're asking me to disclose this on my law school applications. Do you think I really need to disclose it? And he was like, yeah, you do need to disclose it, but at the same time, you want to go through and get an expungement, right? And so, I did what most people do, when they need that kind of service, and I just started Googling, attorneys who perform this, and I was cold calling. I paid a $300 consultation fee to one guy who I didn't even end up going with. And then, I was quoted prices for an expungement that ranged from $1,500 to $5,000. And, we paid $2,500, I want to say, maybe $2,750, and, put it behind me, right? But having had that experience, I was kind of like in law school, I would joke with my peers that I was going to be an expungement lawyer, right? Because I said, man, a lot of people, have run-ins with the law, and a lot of people probably need expungements, but nobody is speaking to them, right? Nobody's marketing to them. When you see lawyers and lawyer marketing, what is it? It's your rec, your check, that kind of thing. And so nobody is speaking to this huge part of the population that have things on their criminal record that are eligible to be removed. And so I would joke around that I was going to do that. I never really put anything into it. But it came back around. The opportunity came back around. When I was kind of really wanting to, for a new adventure, right, in my life. I thought that I had done really well in the criminal defense space, and I wanted something new. And so we kicked it off, man, and with that foundation.
And what year was that? Like, what year did you guys start working on this?
So we started working on this initially in 2022. At the time, we didn't have the domain. I was my business partner. Like I said, we've known each other for a long time. We actually had a startup, many years before that, probably about 10 years or more, 11 years or so ago. We had a startup. We lived in California, and we were trying to raise venture capital funding then. We failed, but we failed forward, right? And so I learned from that to kind of keep an eye out for scalable solutions. And, I thought that this fit that bill. And so I reached out to my business partner in 2022, and I kind of pitched him on it. At the same time, I was kind of volunteering at certain weekend expungement clinics for certain community-based organizations. And I was seeing this overwhelming response from the community of people who needed expungements, much like I had needed one prior to going to law school. And I said, with the advances in technology that have been made, there has to be a way that we could screen these people for eligibility, that we could help them to help themselves without making this process so dependent on human capital, right? You have to have a lawyer to sit down in front of you and ask you the questions to see if you qualify. And so I really felt like with the advances in technology, specifically with artificial intelligence becoming more ubiquitous, that we could use that to put the power of justice back in the hands of the people where it belongs. And so we felt like expungements was a pretty safe space to start and to really give people the power to handle some of these, what we call non-complex legal matters on their own without a lawyer.
Yes. So
I see you have the website here. That's the website here. I have, first of all, I have the best business partner in the world. Shout out to my co-founder, Roger Roman. And we have the best dev team in the world. Our CTO, Rashid Ali, has put together a team of world-class developers, and they have brought this site to life. And what you see, this is the front end, right? This is the user experience, but on the back end, there's so much work that has to go into building a tech company, right? That is using things like artificial intelligence to serve consumers, right? And so it took many months of hard work on their end. We really appreciate them and everything that they've put into this. And so, like I said, today is the day that many years of hard work becomes available for public consumption.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm not asking the price, but there we go. Right there.
Oh, the prices are there now. We ain't look. No hassle. This is what we say at Legalese, no hassle, no lawyer, we are empowering the people to take the steps necessary to find justice for themselves without a lawyer. We're doing it at a fraction of the cost of what an attorney would charge, and we think that this is going to be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys heard him say he spent upwards of about $2,500, and you can go on here right now, and I see the price is $150 for misdemeanors and $500 for felonies. And I know y'all got $150 and $500.
Yeah, that's right. And so, what studies have shown is that people who do get things that are eligible cleared off of their record can see up to a 22% increase in their income over a lifetime. And so we think that that's a major thing, that's the economic impact of this play. And so, again, not only are we empowering people to handle some of these non-complex legal matters on their own without an attorney, but we're boosting our local economies by helping people to keep a lot of that money in their pocket. As an attorney, I can tell you firsthand just how much money comes out of the Black community specifically, or our poor communities for legal services, right? Because we know that poor people are more likely to have run-ins with the law. They're more likely to have things going on in the criminal justice system, and so much money from our community is shelled out to attorneys and to bondsmen and to just fighting back against the system, and it's really a wealth drainer on poor communities.
Yes. So typically, what's the time frame like? So if someone goes on your website, they get signed up and start the process, how long does that take to get something off of one's record?
So from end to end, it kind of varies. So once it's out of our hand, the other part of that is kind of up to the court, right? It's up to the judge and the process of getting that in front of the judge and getting it signed off on. And so when we launched our MVP a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, for those of you who don't know, in the venture capital world, an MVP is your minimally viable product, right? It's supposed to be just a basic representation of what it is that you're trying to build, right? It doesn't have to work perfectly. It doesn't have to look perfect, but it should give people who you're pitching to, potential investors, it should give them an idea of what it is that you're looking to build with their money, should they invest, right? And so when we did that, we processed close to 400 expungements, and the average time was about 30 to 45 days to get that signed off on. And so we kind of stick to that. We help people to keep track of what's going on with their expungement, and so that they are kept abreast of all of the developments in their case. And all of this can be done on our platform.
I love it. So you said it launches tonight, and I know you said you kind of wanted to start off with expungement. So I'm wondering, are there going to be other services added in the future?
Yeah.
Services?
Yes, we do. We want to add other services in the future. Like, again, our ultimate vision is to empower people to handle non-complex legal matters, right? And so your non-complex legal matters, something like an expungement, a no-fault divorce, even soft tissue personal injury cases. I believe that with the power of artificial intelligence, people could really handle some of those on their own without a lawyer as well, and save themselves, 33 to third, 40%, 50% of what they would be getting from an insurance company, that can go back into their pocket instead of to a lawyer. And I have, to my lawyer friends who are out there, don't hate me. Don't hate me.
You're a lawyer. You're taking your own business away.
No, I mean, look, I'm here. I'm in tech. I'm in legal tech, and I think that this is the best way. The combination of law and tech, I think that's the best way to help the greatest number of people, in the most efficient manner. So I like it here. I love it here. Ain't that what I love it here.
Love it here.
So I look forward to growing this company. We just raised our pre-seed round in the venture capital world. A pre-seed round it's your first round where you're taking money from institutional investors or angels as well. Before that, you may have a friends and family round, they call it. A lot of us aren't fortunate enough to have enough friends and family that have the kind of money that it would take to get something off of the ground.
Right.
But for the ones, if you can, get the money together, to get that MVP done using your own finances or, help from friends and family, sweat equity from people, from there, you would set out to raise a pre-seed round. We are in the process of closing our pre-seed round now. We've closed about $1 million in venture capital investment so far, and we are in the process of closing another check or two, and then we're going to shut this round down, focus on building this company and scaling across Mississippi, and then we'll go back out in about 9 months from now and raise what is called a seed round, and we'll be looking to raise between $5 and $10 million at that time.
Oh, nice. So for a company that's just getting started out, what advice would you give them? I know you said kind of reach out to your family and friends at first, but are you able to tell us kind of like how to pitch it? Because a lot of people are like, I'm not investing in your dream. Like, you're not about to waste my money with that. Are you coming with them? Of course, I'm sure you're coming with like a business plan and all that. But can you kind of walk us through what that looks like when you actually pitch to others?
So, well, the first thing that you want to do is, you want to have a scalable solution to a real problem, right? And so when you say real problem, it doesn't have to be necessarily a negative thing, right? You could just be making something that's good better, right? But you want to have and by scalable, I mean something that doesn't just work, in your community, or something that doesn't just work in your neighborhood, something that you could scale across the country or even across the world, right? Like Amazon and companies that have grown and have these massive valuations and have millions and millions of customers across the globe. Those are scalable. Right, that's how they got to be as big as they are. They scaled their way to that space. So you want to have a solution that's scalable, and you initially, when you're pitching to people, you want to have your ducks in a row, right? You want to know who your ideal customer is. You want to know how you're going to reach them and how much money that's going to cost. You want to have your pitch deck, and you want to have your MVP. Like I said, you can tell people about what it is that you want to do, but it really says a lot more when you can show them that you've actually taken some concrete steps toward getting something done, right? I think that signals that you are someone who can get things done, and that's really important. You're going out and you're asking people to open up their network to you of other investors, and you're asking them to open up their checkbook to you and write you a check for your company. They don't really necessarily know you that well, and so you have a very, very short amount of time to convince them that you're somebody who they can trust enough with their money to go out and execute on an idea.
Oh, nice. So I love that. So kind of what does the future of Legalese look like once you guys raise all this capital? I know you said you're trying to scale, but specifically, will you be hiring people? I don't really know. I know it's fully AI and that's what it's moving to. But will this be a company where you will have more employees and things of that nature?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've already hired a chief of staff just recently. Our chief of staff, Faith, she also went to Howard University with us, and we'll be looking to bring on additional customer service reps in the near future in Mississippi. We're a Mississippi-based company, and we want to hire in Mississippi and help to lift Mississippi. It kind of, I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And so I like to think of Legalese as a rising tide in Mississippi, and we certainly want to lift as many people as we can as we scale this company.
Yeah, so as you scale, just kind of a personal question, are you going to stop practicing law, or will that be something that you continue to do?
Yeah, so I've been winding down my private practice for a number of years now. It's kind of like I compare it to stopping a train, right? You can't just slam on the brakes and stop it. You have to kind of gradually slow down until you come to a stop. And so I think that over time, I'll have less and less criminal cases. I already have less now than I've had at any point in the last 7 years that I've been practicing. I have a trial coming up on the 28th of this month, and so I'm going to get that knocked out, and that'll be one less that I have, and I'll keep knocking them down as they come up. And I don't accept as many cases as I used to. If I feel compelled for whatever reason to get involved controversy, then I may entertain the idea, but I'm really hyper focused on legalese and really building this company to its maximum potential.
Oh, I love that. So, any advice to any future lawyers out there? I know you're getting out the practice, but for those that may want to get in it and run their own private practice, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, for one, don't be discouraged. That's why I'm very open about some of my struggles and that went into getting to where I am. I didn't have the best grades. I had to apply for several years before I made a decision on a law school, and my options weren't that many. And so don't be discouraged. You can be a regular person and still have a wonderful future. Do whatever it is that you want to do. Don't be limited by preconceived notions of what you should be or should have in order to go where you want to go. If you think that you want to be a lawyer, have to get up and go. As long as you get up every day and you take, even if it's just a small step some days and a big step on other days, if you keep working towards that, you'll get it done. And I think that the people who really, really want it, I think that we understand that, somewhere kind of like deep inside. And so for the people who really want it, go out there and get it. I think we have to tell them about how you and I met. I don't know if you want to. We should tell them about how you and I met. I mean, because really, in terms of you have to take life by notice, man. And so it's none of us are like perfect, and I'm still we met how we met, and I'm still a lawyer here today. But I was in law school. I was a third-year law student. It was the spring semester. It was like March-ish, maybe like late March, like early April, and I was getting ready to graduate law school, and I went to Mississippi College, and the rule at Mississippi College was that if you missed 25% of a class, then you got an automatic F in the class and you failed. And so I kind of played around with that my first year of law school, and I ended up failing a class on that technicality. And so I was so determined in that third year that I wasn't going to go over that 25% mark. And so I had a morning class at 8 a.m., then I had an evening class at 6 p.m. And in between the time, I really just didn't want to go home because I didn't want to take a chance at being late to the class and the professors closed the door. So I was like, I'm going to go and hang out in Jackson with some friends. And so I do that. I'm out in Jackson. I'm hanging out. And we ended up in, I don't really know if I would call it a shootout, but we were in Jackson and somebody started shooting.
Right.
That's right. We ended up in a shooting, and so somebody started shooting into the vehicle that we were in. You remember this, not you and I, but the vehicle that myself and my friends were in, and my friend was actually shot. And I thought, that the worst had happened. And you were close by, and you pulled up to the scene, and I was out there, frantic, and that was how you and I initially, met on that crazy afternoon in Jackson. And so that is really relevant to this because at that moment I started to take life a little bit more serious,
Yeah.
And I said that, I have one life to live, and I'm going to live it to the max. And so, I graduated from law school a few weeks later, and really with that experience as fuel, I said, I'm just going to move to California and pursue building this company, which at the time was Visionary Works. And so that actually motivated me to, throw caution to the wind. I graduated from law school on a Saturday, and that Monday, I packed up my car and I drove to California and set off on this journey to build a venture scalable company. That initial company failed, but Legalese is able to fly because of that experience. So,
wow, you packed up that Monday after that happened?
No, not the Monday. That happened, I would say, about a month before graduation, maybe 5 weeks or so before graduation. And so when I graduated on that Friday, I said, I'm going to California. I'm just going to do it. And so I did, and because I took that initial step, and learned about building, venture scalable companies and finding scalable solutions to real world problems, I was able to notice that there was a blind spot in the market, right? And as far as record clearing services go, and that's how we ultimately that's how Legalese got started.
Yeah, that's a good story. That's a real story, people. So, hey.
It is a real story. And thank God that you were there. Thank God that you were there.
Just riding through, you know.
That's right.
So someone
Oh,
laid
man.
down, so I got on the ground, shot, like, oh my gosh, let me help. But yeah, but that kind of goes back to this. I mean, if the person that may, was involved in that, if they were to get out and get out of jail, is that something that they could get expunged from their records?
No, so they would absolutely not be eligible, thank God. Your violent felonies are not eligible for expungement. With the expungement process, all of the offenses that are eligible are statutorily prescribed, meaning the state legislature has already decided which offenses are eligible and which ones are not. If you go to our website, legalease.com, and you chat with Wilma, she will take you through the process of determining whether or not you are eligible for expunction. As a matter of fact, I'll do a premiere right now. Right now, right here with you on Solux Life, we're going to call Wilma at 1-800-619-1111. And she better work.
Come on, Wilma.
Come on, Wilma. Don't get fired.
Hi there, I'm Wilma, your expungement.ai assistant. I'm here to help you check your eligibility and guide you through the expungement process in Mississippi. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Wilma. I would like to get my record expunged.
I can certainly help you with that. To start, could you please tell me your first name?
Law.
Thank you, Law. And what is your last name?
Black.
All right, Law Black, could you please provide your phone number?
601-859-6465.
Is that your real number?
Just to confirm, your name is Law Black, and your phone number is 601-859-6465, correct?
Correct.
I didn't quite catch that. Could you please confirm if your name is Law Black and your phone number is 601-859-6465?
Yes, Wilma, that is my name and number.
Great, thank you for confirming. Now let's move on to some questions to determine your eligibility.
And so you see how simple that is? In the past, you would have to call an attorney's office, schedule some type of meeting with them.
During business hours.
That's right. So, we're taking the power back. We're taking the power back and we're putting it in the hands of the people. As attorneys, what we kind of are gatekeepers of information, right? We possess the knowledge of the process. We understand the laws as they're written and all of this foreign language that people can't understand, right? They call it legalese. And so, we're taking that and we're using artificial intelligence to break those barriers down and to kind of give some balance. Some much needed balance to the justice system.
Yeah, I love that. Well, hopefully you guys in the future can teach us how to, file civil cases, because I feel like I got a lawsuit I want to file right now.
Well, our ultimate vision for Wilma is for her to be the go-to source for legal knowledge in the artificial intelligence space.
Yeah, random question. So why the name Wilma? Was it just like a comment? Did y'all vote on it? Like, how did y'all get the name Wilma?
Say that again?
How did y'all come up with the name Wilma? Was this like a vote between, the owners, or it's like Wilma?
No. So my dad is an attorney, and he had an assistant when I was younger. Her name was Miss Wilma Young.
Oh.
And Miss Young, she was there, man. Miss Young would be there on Saturdays. Miss Young would stay after 5 o'clock on the weekdays, and she was really instrumental in helping my dad and his law partner build their law firm right here in Canton, Mississippi. And unfortunately, Miss Young passed away from breast cancer when I was in law school. And so when we were building this thing, we had our AI and we were working on training our AI parallel, it's called. And I said, we have to name, her. We have to give it a name, right? And something that we can actually go out and market. And I said, I think that we should name her Wilma, kind of bridging the legacy, right? And so we've woven a lot of different things like that into this company. The name of our AI chatbot is Wilma, but the voice that you just heard was that of Shanice, and Shanice was also someone who helped my dad build his practice. He and his law partner to build their practice, and so I incorporated different things into this business that are from the legacy that my father started, and I think that's kind of a good luck charm in my mind.
That's a good story. I'm glad I asked.
That was actually a really good question. You get your Oprah on.
See, I'm a true podcaster. Get down, get to the
You
beat.
sure are. You good. You good.
Yeah, so I know you said like you kind of wanted to leave a legacy. So like, what is the legacy that you plan to leave? I know the audience doesn't know. He doesn't have any kids, but he told me this is his year, y'all. So
I said, I don't know if you remember when we talked about this before, but I wanted $1 million before I had a kid, And so this was the year that I touched $1 million. And so I think that this is probably a pretty good, safe year to go on and do that.
Yeah, you can afford kids.
So that was my thing. But, for me, I think that it's really important, especially for somebody like me who didn't have to necessarily start at the bottom. Right. I had a boost. I had a father who was successful. I had a father who had a law practice, who was someone who had admiration in the community. And so even just the way that people spoke to me and spoke life into me as a young person, not based off of anything that I had done or earned, but based off of the things that he had done. I think it's really important to take that and build on it and build something bigger. And he has had a career that has it had an impact on so many people, countless numbers of people that he has impacted in a positive way over the course of his career. And so I think that for me, being a benefactor of all of his hard work and his law partner's hard work, I think that it is my duty to build upon that, right, and take what they built and build something a little bigger and help more people, right? And that's the same thing that I would want from my kids, for them to take whatever it is that I have built and make something even bigger than that and kind of keep this thing going.
Nice. Does your dad still practice?
He does still practice. He retired from the legislature, so that's a good thing. And he practices, but he does what he wants to do at this point in his career, as he should.
As he should. Cool. So is there anything else you want to leave with our people before we play like a fun little game as you exit? We're going to play.
Yeah, like I said, man, Legalese, it really took us about 11 years to get to this point. It all started with packing up that car the Monday after law school graduation and going to California, and really at that time really beginning to kind of chart my own path in the business world and in the legal world. And so don't be afraid to take that first step, even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't have the connects, you don't know what it's going to look like, you don't know how it's going to work out. Just step anyway, and continue to step and continue to step. Keep going and don't look back and don't look behind you. Kind of keep your blinders on, and eventually, I believe that it'll pay off. So stay encouraged, I think, will be the message.
Stay encouraged, and make sure you guys visit legalese.law.
Legalese.com. So we started off with legalese.law, but we have actually
.law, and it came up.
Yeah, I mean, we have acquired legalese.com, and so that was a major accomplishment that has happened over the last 9 months or so. Once we started closing some of those checks, we immediately kind of turned our attention to building this brand. And so I said, he or they who own the .com domain really own the company. And so we were really aggressive in going after and reaching out to the owners, the previous owners of legalese.com, and acquiring that domain from them. And so we think that that's going to be a major, major sticker for us as we're building this brand across the nation.
Love it, you guys. So make sure you guys check them out tonight. If you have anything on your record that can be expunged, just don't let it sit there. Don't let it hinder you. He said, hey, they make 22% more when they get things off the record. So you definitely want to be in that number.
That's right. Be in the number. Call our number, 1-800-619-1111. That also, and I don't really talk about this publicly, but that represents my birthday. And so that's just another thing that we have plugged in there, 11/11. That was the day and the month that I was born. And so I wanted to, there's a lot of different things that are woven into this story like that. But it's very easy to remember, 1-800-619-1111. call Wilma. If you have something on your record that you want to get off of there, even if you don't know that you're eligible, Wilma will walk you through the steps and let you know if you're eligible, just like an attorney would, except we are not charging an arm and a leg.
Wow. So there's like no consultation fee. We can just call and talk to Wilma and be like, hey, I got this on my record. Am I able to?
That's right. No lawyer, no hassle, just results.
And are you guys open 24/7? Could I call her anytime?
24/7. Wilma is always there. Much like Miss Wilma Young was always there for my father and for his law partner when they were building their practice. We have Wilma 24/7 available for you, the consumer, to call, and she will answer. Right now, she'll only answer your questions about record clearing, but as we grow, you'll be able to come to Wilma for a whole host of your legal questions, and she will be able to answer them as good or better than a live attorney would.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I have a request because you guys' next venture with Wilma be like family law, specifically like child support in that sector, so we can kind of.
I like the idea of that, and I think that could be a big hit. But there are a lot of. It's kind of like a sliding scale when it comes to child support and things. And so, we would have to work on that. But, I think that as this technology, and when I say this technology, I mean this artificial intelligence, as it becomes smarter, as it becomes more ubiquitous, and we're using it in our everyday life, I can absolutely imagine a scenario where you can come to Wilma and she can help you get that child support situation straightened out.
And not necessarily child support, but just like, maybe like visitation rights or custody and things of that nature. I feel like
and you know what? A lot of people need help with that, but they're discouraged from even pursuing it because they don't have the money to afford an attorney, and so they put it off and they put it off and they put it off, and they're already robbing Peter to pay Paul, and so they just don't have the money to go out and seek the justice that they deserve, and that's why a company like Legalese is so important.
Love that, you guys. Make sure you guys check them out. So just to end on a high note, we're going to play a light, fun game of this or that.
Let's go.
So coffee or tea?
Tea. Tea is better for you, but I probably do drink more coffee, but I should drink tea more.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not really a coffee drinker myself, but I get like the sugary coffee from Starbucks, which I shouldn't, but okay.
You know what I have just recently been introduced to?
What?
Dutch Brothers Coffee, or Dutch Bros. And I don't know if they have them in Alabama or not, but it's really good. I actually went there today, and I had matcha? The green tea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had that, and so I'm trying to make that transition, right? And so you can't be trying to build a company and letting your health lag. You have to stay healthy. I want to cut out sugary drinks like coffee. I want to cut out acidic drinks like coffee, and so I'm kind of making the switch as we speak to matcha. How do you say it?
Matcha, I believe.
Matcha. I'm making the switch from coffee to matcha tea right now, and so here's to staying strong in that.
Here's to staying strong.
Here's to staying strong.
Your health is your wealth. Seriously.
Your health is your ultimate wealth. Absolutely.
Yeah. So a beach vacation or a city getaway?
City getaway. I'm not too big on the beach. I don't get in. I only like to get in man-made bodies of water. I let nature, have everything.
Grenada has a man-made beach up there. You should go visit it.
I need to spend more time in Grenada. Maybe you can introduce me to people and start helping me to make some inroads out there.
Absolutely. So, Netflix binge or a night out?
Netflix binge. I'm a homebody. I hate to go out. I don't like to drink. I did all of that. And I stopped hanging out. I literally stopped hanging out when that happened.
I put some fear in you, like, hey, I'm gonna get my life together.
I'm getting it together. I've been
laser focused. I straightened up. I started walking on a tight line.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, life is too short. So
life is too short, and anything can happen. But when I'm at home, I have a lot more control over what's happening. So I'm definitely more in the Netflix and chill type of thing.
Do you prefer texting or talking?
Texting. I prefer texting. I have to talk so much, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a CEO. I'm a recovering criminal defense attorney. I'm a state legislator, and so my phone is ringing all of the time. And so I would prefer to text because I spend all day talking.
Good point.
That's pretty much the bulk of what I do. Across the board, I do a lot of talking with people and trying to get things understood and
You're right.
follow up memorandums and stuff. But I talk so much that when possible, I prefer text.
I can understand that. Sweet or salty snacks?
Sweet, and that's bad. I don't need sweet or salty, but definitely got a sweet tooth. I get that probably from my grandma. She really always, that something sweet thing. She always have to have something sweet.
Yes.
And I'm kind of like that. I eat a lot of cookies and stuff, and especially like late at night, I eat a lot of cookies or something. Honey bun, I need like something sweet. I need something sweet. I just need a little something sweet.
Just a little something sweet to finish it off. I got you. So, summer or winter?
Summer, most definitely.
A book or audiobook?
A book.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram, I'm old.
You're not old. Tell the people.
I'm not, but like Instagram, TikTok is still. I think TikTok is probably definitely way more useful, but I don't really spend a lot of time on TikTok. I just remember every now and then to let me see what's going on here. But I'm definitely scrolling Instagram, pretty often.
Yes, well, you definitely need a TikTok presence for legalese. So, hey, if you need a TikTok
And I know that you were doing that at one point. You were doing like some coaching on how to do the videos. I struggle even with the video that I put up today that we shot, 11 years ago in Santa Monica. I actually had to have my mentee help me to edit that the right way because when I tried to do it, it was turned like the wrong way, and so I had to like call people. I was like, "Well, how can I?" They were like, "Well, you can just rotate it," and I was like, "Well, how do you do that?" I said, "Well, can I just send it to you? Can you do it for me?" Because I couldn't figure out. That's what took so long. I wanted to like post it at like 11 o'clock this morning because it was going to be 12 hours from our launch. And it looked like I'm really weird like that. I have a lot of kind of things like that. And so, but I couldn't figure it out. It took me till 1 o'clock to get that figured out and then finally.
That's funny. Well, I actually do still do that social media management and coaching and all that. So, hey, shameless plug.
I'm gonna have to get some help because that was really pitiful. And I'm supposed to be. I call I'm a legal tech CEO. I'm in tech, and I'm like having trouble editing my video.
Right, we're like, how are you in tech? Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird. I go to bed. I go to bed at 11. That's another thing.
You go to bed at 11 p.m.?
I'm in bed by 11. Yeah.
That's not early.
You don't think so?
I went to bed last night at like 8 o'clock.
Ooh, man. See, I can't do that during the summer because when it's light out, I can't sleep. So it has to be dark for me.
Yeah.
But again, my thing, like I have an 11 thing. If you can't tell, I have it like padded on my arm somewhere. But I go to bed at 11. I like to watch the news at night, so I make sure that I catch the 10 o'clock news, and then I like to watch the first 15 minutes of Jimmy Kimmel. And then, I fall asleep between 10:45 and 11. Big Jimmy Kimmel fan. Shout out to my dog, Jimmy Kimmel.
Hey, shout out to him. I can't wait to see you on there one day.
Speak that into existence, for real.
Okay, it's already done. So are you more of a passive income or more of a hustle culture type person?
I'm trying to get into passive income, but I've been very hustling. Criminal defense is very hustly. You have to hustle for that money. If you're going to be, practicing criminal defense, with your own firm, and most criminal defense attorneys, have their own firm, you have to get out there and hustle for that money. And, you have to satisfy a lot of different moving parts at the same time, right? And so you have to kind of strike a balance between not being offensive to prosecutors and judges because you need them to work with you, but you also want to keep your client and their family satisfied. And so it's a profession where you have to get up and you have to hit the ground running every single day, and you're hustling until you're back in the bed. And so there's nothing wrong with that. You have to apply a similar hustle to building a startup company. And so I think that was a great kind of pre-exercise for what we're doing now. But I certainly want to transition into passive income and less hustle.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm trying to get to now. I feel like I'm in like hustle mode with the real estate.
You're doing it though. I mean, you're really building that brand, and you're selling houses in Alabama and Mississippi now. You're running for council.
Hey.
You're being a mom. So you have a whole lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so much stuff going on. I don't even know how to balance it all. So
no, you're doing it, man. You've come up. You've come a long way. Come a long way from that Optima.
Shoot out while pregnant. And I won't even lie, like at that
I forgot that you were pregnant. You were like super pregnant. I was like, damn, she's pregnant.
Yes, I was pregnant. And then one of the officers, she was like, they were trying to ask me some questions. I was like, I gotta go to class. Like, I gotta class. She was like, baby, what are you even doing out here? Like, you just need to leave. Like, she was like, you don't even look like you're supposed to be. I was like, I'm not. I'm crying. Going on there. So you guys.
Yeah, no, because I had to go downtown to the station and tell them what I witnessed and all that kind of stuff. And I left the police station downtown and walked to class at Mississippi College. Maybe an hour and a half after that incident, because I wasn't gonna miss that class. I didn't get whatever happened.
I don't care what happened. Like y'all got to class me and ask some questions.
Unless they had shot me and I was like out in surgery. I was going to that class. I was finna get finished with that law school. I had other stuff to do. I walked right up out of that police station, shook up from a shootout, and I walked straight to class. And I didn't even have my car because I had to leave my car at the scene. And so I had to like write a note and leave it on my friend's car. Hey, when you get out of class, don't leave me. I need you to give me a ride. And so I was really serious, man. I was serious about getting done. I was not going to get that technical F in that class. And I needed to move on, man. I had to get to legalese, so we couldn't stop. The show could not stop. We had to keep it moving. And but I'm glad that you were there and you were okay. I'm glad that I was there and I was okay. And I'm glad that my friend who actually was shot is actually okay. He's doing very well now. He has a son, and his son is playing sports, and he's doing really well as an entrepreneur. And so I think that moment kind of made us all tighten up a little bit. Actually,
what are you doing? Like, get your
we all got companies now. All of us got companies now.
So you just never know. But people
you never know.
If you are younger, that goes to show just watch the company you keep.
That's right. And not just even the company keep. Watch where you go.
Yes.
Watch where you go. Don't be in those disreputable locations. They're disreputable for a reason. Don't be off Robinson Road at night talking about hanging out. Like, just don't do it. You know what I mean?
Not even at night. This was in the daytime, middle of the day.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you will not. Don't be off Belvedere kicking it. You know what I'm saying? You will not be an exception to the things that go on in certain parts of your community, if you're spending too much time in those places. And so that was definitely a sharp lesson for me. It did not come a moment too soon, and it got me out to California.
Seriously, bullets don't have a name on them, so you just,
They don't have nobody's name on it, and just, thank God we're here.
Yes, thank the Lord. Won't God do it?
He will do it, and he's still doing it. Been doing it. Don't keep doing it.
Are you more of a private person, or do you care for popularity?
No, I'm super private. I spend so much time in, kind of public facing roles, being an attorney, being a representative. And so I have to give a lot of people access to me. And I come across, I think to some people as an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert, right? But I'm still willing to give myself, but I have to retreat, at a certain point. And so, I have my places that I go to, when I need to fall back and kind of get some time away. And I make sure I'm very intentional about doing that as needed. I don't have, I'll stop everything. and go get some time to kind of rebuild and refocus and to really feel like myself.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get burnt out, and it's so easy for entrepreneurs to do.
Right.
So, and I'm gonna kind of switch gears. This is more like music wise, so like Tupac or Biggie.
Tupac for sure.
Yeah, Nas or Jay-Z.
Nas. Nas was into venture capital, right? And so, Nas invested in Ring. I don't know if you have a Ring camera on your phone, on your home, but Nas and his venture capital company, Queensbridge, is actually not even active now, but Queensbridge Capital, they were one of the early investors in Ring. And I think that after Nas cashed out on Ring, I think that he kind of hung it up.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's all you need. All you need is that one, you need that one thing to hit, and it'll change your life.
I just need my one rap song to hit so I can start to.
Oh, you rapping now? That's right. I forgot that you be in the booth. Watch out now.
I got to get some stuff off my chest.
So who do you like? What? Because female rappers are really hot right now. Who do you like?
Oh, you'll probably be surprised. I like ratchet music. I like Sexy Red. I like Cardi B. She's cool. I've never really been like a Nicki Minaj fan. But
I think she's a great lyricist, though. Like her lyrics.
Yeah, for real. Like she kills it. Lyric wise, for sure. But I grew up, like, I was like a fan of like Webby and like Yo Gotti, like some.
Very Grenada.
Right.
Grenada.
Right. 3-6 Mafia, all that.
Right. Yeah, me too, though. That's what I like. I listen to a lot of the 3-6 Mafia. I got Project Pat, and I'm not going to show y'all, but I got like Project Pat lyrics kind of on my side. That'll be it for another show.
Yeah, they'll be for the when you get on with Janae.
Right. Yeah, but I do. I got Project Pat, take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you got, remember what you had. I got that tatted on me. That was one of my first tattoos. So that shows you, how locked in I am with Project Pat and 666.
Yes. Love that. So it's been a fun episode. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the So Looks Like podcast, and you're always welcome back.
I'm so appreciative that you would have me, and I look forward to coming back. This is one of two, maybe three announcements that I expect to make over the course of the next 5 months. As we close out this year. And, maybe I'll come back here and I'll make all of those announcements right here on the So Lux Life podcast.
Dude, we want things.
But they like that. If they want, if your followers, if your audience, if they want, I will come back here and I will make two more very special announcements right here on the So Lux podcast.
Well, we feel so honored to have you. And I'm so grateful that you carved time out of your busy schedule tonight. So is there anything else that you want to leave the people with? How can they contact you? How can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Law Blackmon. Don't find me on Facebook. I had I kind of was doing my decoy thing, on Facebook, but a lot of people have found me and we'll get into that story another show also. We probably need to have like a series of like 5 shows for me to really get it out. You know what I'm saying? My journey from Goodwin to Blackman, that'll be like a whole mini series. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Law Blackman. That's really the best social media platform to find me on. You can find me on LinkedIn at Lawrence Blackman. And more importantly than reaching me, you can reach Wilma 24/7 at 1-800-619-1111, or you can visit legalease.com.
And that was that number, 1-800-619-1111. There we go. 619-1111. I'm going to put it on the screen for those that may be watching. Make sure you guys contact Wilma starting when? Tonight, tomorrow?
Starting tonight at what time? Starting tonight at 11. So as I'm laying it down, Wilma will be picking up her first of many shifts at Legalese. She's there 24/7. She's very intelligent. We worked on her for many, many months. We put a lot of time and energy into making her right for public consumption. And you can reach her starting at 11 p.m. tonight at 1-800-619-1111.
And you heard it from.
And look out for our commercials. Our commercials will start airing on all local stations in Mississippi next week, and we have several versions of our commercial that will be released, and they're all really good. I think they're really effective.
Love that. We will definitely be on the lookout. If you guys missed this episode, the replay will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you stream your podcasts.
All right. Go So Lux Life.